Hello, we're live. Hello, Project NICU community. Rochelle here, Director of Family Support and Advocacy for Project NICU. And we wanted to welcome you to another session on our second day of NICU Mental Health Week. We are super excited. For those who do not yet know, even though we've been talking about it already because we're excited, it is our 5th annual NICU Mental Health Week. And this year we are very much focusing and trying to shine a light on how important connection and understanding and community is within this space, especially as we talk about mental health of our NICU families and professionals. So I am absolutely thrilled to welcome our speakers for this afternoon. We have with us Brianna Fair from Birthing Beautiful Communities. And okay, I'm making sure that we are all good here. My screen was stuttering a little bit, but I think we're good. Okay. And also Haley Childs, who is an executive board member of Project NICU. Haley serves as the program director of POEM, and she is a certified peer recovery supporter and an independently licensed marriage and family therapist who has obtained perinatal mental health certification. And Haley initially connected with POEM as a program participant in 2018 following the birth of her 4th child, a micro preemie who was born at 23 weeks and 2 days. Haley has certainly been on her own super unique and challenging journey as a NICU mama. And following that birth experience, which was preceded by 2 consecutive miscarriages, Haley has become totally immersed in the work of supporting other moms and birthing persons through their journeys. Her personal experiences have fueled a passion for ensuring that moms and birthing persons have access to adequate resources, support, and appropriate care throughout experiences of pregnancy, loss, and the postpartum period. Haley is a member of the Ohio Collaborative for Perinatal Mental Health. And like I said earlier, we are so very proud to have her serving on Project NICU's executive board. And she also volunteers as a member of Nationwide Children's Neonatal Family Advisory Council, which is, of course, such important work, lending her firsthand lived experience as a NICU mama to that work. And while working and volunteering are Haley's passions and a huge part of her world, her greatest joys in life come from prioritizing individual mental health and time with family. Haley, thank you so very much for joining us. And I'm going to pass things over to you to please introduce Brianna.
All right. Thanks, Rochelle. We are super honored to have Brianna join us again this year for NICU Mental Health Week. Brianna L. Fair is a licensed professional counselor who currently provides maternal mental health counseling at Birthing Beautiful Communities. She obtained her master's degree in clinical mental health counseling from Ashland Theological Seminary. Brianna is extremely dedicated to healing trauma in the community and has worked as a therapist and doula for the last 4 years. Brianna was certified as a doula by Birthing Beautiful Communities in 2020 and has assisted in 30 healthy births. Wow. Brianna's counseling work has primarily been with women and children who have suffered from physical, emotional, and/or sexual trauma. She was certified as a grief recovery specialist in January of 2023 and has enjoyed helping people heal the pain that comes with grief and loss. Brianna has served in the community by speaking about mental health at multiple conferences, such as Step Forward Wellness Conference, Victim to Survivor Conference, and other conferences and podcasts. Brianna volunteered in the Cleveland Public School System the last 3 years as a mentor who visits the classroom to teach psychosocial skills to school-aged girls. Since last year, Brianna has been going into the Cleveland County Jail to provide psychosocial support and skills for pregnant inmates. So, Brianna, I'd like to just hand it over to you to speak a little bit more about the work that you do and some of the traumatic experiences that you've heard about from the families that you work with.
Yeah. Thanks for having me first. So I work for Birthing Beautiful Communities. We're a nonprofit based out of Cleveland, Ohio, and we provide free doula services for the community of like Cleveland and Akron and surrounding spaces. In our behavioral health department, we have a long list of providers that are all Black, which is hard to find. And we do that to make it easier to kind of bridge that gap for people who can't find people of color to go to, which can be really difficult. And they provide counseling services, psychiatric services, as far as prescribing medicine and or grief recovery method. So we've kind of become that one-stop shop for people of color who need maternal
Wow.
mental health support. Um, as far as experience with trauma, you see so much of it. Like birth trauma has really I think a lot of people are beginning to really understand birth trauma and that is very prevalent, unfortunately. Um, I think that has to do with a lot of many different things, your support system, your socioeconomic status, your race, so many different things. But it's a life changing experience. And when it doesn't go well, it stays with you. I often say, like when you're at a birth, for you, this may be just a regular day, whether you're a nurse or a doctor or a doula. For me, it's just another day at work. But for that person, they're never going to forget this experience. They're going to remember how the nurse treated them. They're going to remember how you spoke to them. They're going to remember how much support they had or didn't have. This is a really big and life changing moment for them. And you hear it today. It's like every time you tell someone you're pregnant or they hear that someone's pregnant, they're quick to tell you their birth story, their birth trauma, their horror story, because they remember. So I think it's important as a provider of any kind that's working with moms or parents to remember that they won't forget this. This isn't just a regular day for them.
Yeah, wow. So even hearing you say that, like you said, at your practice, like it's they're walking in and families are walking in and they're seeing all black providers. Like what kind of I guess like reception do you feel like you get from clients and folks when they connect with you all and see like there's people that look like them that are serving them?
Yeah, they're very grateful. I always get this is not what I thought it would be like, because we get to laugh and we may talk similar or use some of the same language. Um, it kind of bridges that cultural gap. And I think it just can make you instantly feel safer, you know? Uh, I think a lot of people, when it comes to health providers, they're afraid of being misunderstood or misinterpreted. So seeing someone that looks like you and may have some of the same interests or speaks similar to you, I think it instantly can make you feel safer.
Mhm. I hear that. I hear that. Like how frequently do you all like get the opportunity to work with like NICU families or NICU moms?
Well, I guess it really just depends on how often that happens. I mean, we see we had almost I think 1,000 patients
Wow.
last year, doula patients. So of that, I don't know the exact percentage of how many were NICU, but I would dare say all of our doulas have NICU experience. It has happened. I know my first experience was with a mom that had preeclampsia, and we couldn't get the blood pressure to come down. So that baby had to come out and it was early. But she is healthy and doing well. And I went on to be her doula for her second child as well. So yeah, it's a humbling experience for sure. Um, but I'm just glad to support.
I hear that. Gotta love it when you see something so scary, but but then get to see the baby do well and thrive, and um,
Yeah.
that definitely means a lot. Um, so when you are working with like NICU families and moms that have little ones that spend time in the NICU, like what are some of the like really important things like to help like process that trauma like while they're in the thick of it, because I know that there's a lot of traumatic things that happen throughout the birth experience, and then also traumatic things that can happen while you're in the hospital and you are working with other medical professionals.
I think the biggest thing is really helping them process the emotions of how conflicting it is. You know, um, a lot of the times in this situation, people want to push toxic positivity on you. Oh, just have faith. Oh, just, think positive. And it's like, no, this is a very conflicting experience. You can be really grateful that your child is alive and also be sad that you can't bring your baby home. Both of those things can be true. And I try to help them feel safe enough to acknowledge that and sit with that, because they just really don't get the opportunity a lot of the times from like family and friends sometimes. I think people don't know what to say. So they end up fumbling and maybe saying the wrong thing or not knowing what to do. And I think if you are a family member, a part of someone's support system in the NICU, I think the best thing to do is to be honest about that. Hey, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. I wish I had the words to comfort you. And also, how can I help? Just asking, because maybe they just say, I want to take my mind off of this. Tell me about your day. I don't want to talk about me. I don't want to talk about the baby right now. You never know what they're gonna say, but sometimes just ask. But I think I try to focus on helping them identify their needs so that they can communicate that, and then also really educating them about the process as much as you can. Because a lot of the times, if you don't know how this process goes or what the next steps are and things like that, that just creates more anxiety. So, the more they know about the process and how likely they are to go home and what the next steps are for the child's health plan, you're going to feel better being in the know and having that sort of information. So, that's usually where we start.
No, I hear that, and they shared earlier that I had a 23 weeker. So just everything you are sharing, like all of that, like, and I know my family personally, like my daughter was so sick, right, like that they didn't know what to say at all. So everything you were saying, like about like holding that space for like for both and like this is a really really hard experience, and there that toxic positivity is a lot to take in when you are going through something that you've never experienced, and just having so many feelings all at once. So
Yeah,
many feelings all at once.
very
I'm,
overwhelming. Yeah.
do you notice like with your clients like that you're able to like kind of pull dad into the support sometimes, or pull the non-birthing parent into support? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. Um, I mean, I always offer as a therapist to like bring people into session, because I think people have a hard time having uncomfortable conversations, and sometimes just having that support there to help them communicate what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they need is helpful. But if they don't want to go that route, of course, there's always role play, where it's like I'll be you and you be them, or vice versa. Sometimes just helping them find the language to express what they're trying to say. It's like you know what you want to say, you just can't figure out the best way to say it. So maybe you just support them in that way. And then sometimes, as a doula, I've offered to help communicate as well. Um, so I think that comes up probably the most, the communicating things. People really struggle to have those uncomfortable conversations.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. And I can't even, I did not have a doula during my experience and had no idea. And I'm almost like embarrassed to admit, right? Like, I had no idea how helpful that could have actually been. So, like, I'm sure you hear like a lot from patients or clients that like how different it is to have that support
Yeah,
in that space.
yeah, absolutely. That support is tremendous. Somebody that's been walking with you through it all, from the pregnancy to the labor, the birth, and now the postpartum stage. Um, it means a lot. And then also to just have some of that like medical knowledge to reassure them and to um, help with things they may not understand about that is helpful. And just also connecting them to resources, letting them know like what opportunities are out there. I know, for instance, Project NICU is at the top of my list for someone that has a baby in the NICU, and just those support groups. And yeah, it's good to know that there's places like this that are there to help and support people through this.
Oh yeah, love that. So, it looks like in Cuyahoga County that the admission rates for the NICU continue to rise. So just gonna kind of ask, like, do you have any feedback or thoughts on that? Like the rise in NICU rates in your county?
I mean, I don't have any scientific research to back this, but I think a lot of it would probably have to do with just the health of our society today, and also an overall health. I mean, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of it, you know. And then also the economy, you know, when the economy is not doing well, people aren't feeling good, they're not eating well, they're not taking care of themselves well, and that added stress makes you more likely to, you know, not have a healthy pregnancy. These women, these families are going through so many challenges. Daycare prices are ridiculous. uh, the price of everything from food to housing to everything is ridiculously priced. Um, and it's like you want good support for your children, you want good support for yourself, but it's just not always in the cards sometimes. So trying to prioritize your children sometimes leaves you not prioritizing yourself. And then now you're not doing well. So I would say all of those things probably contribute to the rising rates. And also to just what is it? Like the ignorance, that lack of education about certain things and how important they are. There's so many myths about pregnancy and about labor, where it's just like, oh, on TV they always say, or my mom or people I know always say this. And I think that that's probably one of the fun parts about being a doula, being able to educate about things. And they're like, really? I didn't know that. Wow. um, uh, Being able to give them accurate information, because some of the things that get passed down are just not always accurate.
Yeah. Oh, I can only imagine some of the things that you hear, and you're probably like, "Oh my gosh, who told you that?" Um, I think I was one of those people when I was pregnant where I was like, "Well, I heard from my grandma that this, that, and the third," and was very, very adamant thinking that that was the case. Um,
Yeah.
so
Hi, I'm back in.
Yay.
Hi, ladies. So we actually have a couple questions coming in. Is it okay if I ask those? I'd love to get your take on it. I think it would be helpful to the community listening.
yes,
So,
for sure.
especially for you, Brianna, because you're obviously here within the local Cleveland area, working every day within the community. The statistics are basically pretty loud about the NICU population within Cleveland. So the rates are continuing to raise for premature birth and NICU admissions within Cuyahoga County, unfortunately. And so it would just be really great, I think, to have your feedback as a birth worker and a mental health professional. What are some of the things that you think, I guess, in thinking about NICU families specifically, what are some of the things that you typically recommend to friends or family as to ways that they can, really effectively and tangibly support new parents, specifically new NICU families? Like, do you ever have any friends or family, reach out? They're like, hey, how can we best support our, friend or family member or neighbor or coworker who's recently had a baby in the NICU? What are some suggestions that you have for them and just for their community in general?
Yeah. Number one, listen first. Listen more than you speak. It's not about you. Try not to make it about you. Um, Let them release. Let them release. Don't try to change how they're feeling, but let them process this out loud, and understand that it's probably just as uncomfortable for you as it is for them to speak it. You know, that's real support. And then, like I was kind of saying a little bit before, what do you need? What can I do? And sometimes just offering up certain suggestions, because maybe you have suggestions that the person hasn't thought of, because a lot of times you ask someone in need what they need, they're like, I don't know, I'm all over the place. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, would bringing you a meal be helpful? Would taking some of your older children for the day be helpful?
Mhm.
uh just throwing things out there and seeing if it hits. But I think that listening is that first one. Sometimes we want to give a motivational speech and it's like, they didn't need that. They could go to YouTube for that.
Mhm. Yeah. But it's so hard, and Haley, I'm sure you can attest to this too, especially as the facilitator of our NICU Families of Color virtual support group, which we always, offer up as it's a free, accessible space to do just that, to tell your story. I remember, the first time that I ever told my NICU story in its entirety to somebody, it was just the stars had to be aligned. You have to feel safe, you have to feel heard, like there's the opportunity, and our NICU stories can be really ugly,
Yeah.
right? They don't sound great and they're full of lots of just scary stuff. And I think being able, like you said, to just tell your story rawly and just as it is and have someone say, yeah, that is really hard, and leave it at that, to
Yes.
just validate it for you. Yeah.
I did forget to add, like, offering to go to like a support group, or um to look into a resource with them. Sometimes I think people want treatment, but they just may be afraid or a little intimidated, or just like not sure how this is going to go. So, someone being willing to sit with them through the support group, uh, sometimes that's the first step they need.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So what do you ladies have to say, to the NICU mom specifically, or dad, but, the parent who's sitting there bedside next to their baby's isolette, and they're heartbroken, like they're just robotic and numb and they just don't even know what to do next, but they know that they're struggling and they're feeling alone. Or to the new parent who has just recently gotten home from the NICU and is just now beginning to sort of process the gravity of what they went through. And again, they want to maybe talk with someone, but they don't even know where to start. um, what advice do you have for them?
Advice. Um, the advice would be not to run from it, because that's probably going to cause more problems than you realize. It might feel like too much at the time, but there are people out there that are willing to hold your hand and walk you through it.
Mhm.
Um, there are caring, loving providers that want to be there for you. So I know it may be intimidating, and I know you're thinking about the last time you tried and that didn't go well, or that bad experience you had with another provider. But don't give up on yourself. You
Oh,
know, this is how you fight for you and say, I know I can find the right person, because finding that is really just such a good sweet spot. You're like, oh, I really connect with this person, and having that support, it really changes everything. Um, so I would say, yeah, don't give up on yourself in that way. Get the support, use the resources, and the support group. It's good to see that you're not the only one that feels that way. Our pain can make us feel so isolated, like no one gets it, no one knows. But in a support group where you get to hear other people's stories, you see that you're not alone. And our feelings will lie to us, they're not facts. So, there's so many things that are going on in your head that may be irrational. So it's just good to hear from other people, and it's like if one-on-one is intimidating, yeah, start with the support group. Start with the, your peers.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. And, now feels like a really great time to kind of wrap up. But before we do, I really want to make sure that we end. Haley, you can definitely obviously speak to this a lot better because you're the facilitator of that group. But we are super excited to announce that we have totally relaunched our NICU Parents of Color virtual support group. We took a little break from some of our groups earlier in the year, but we're bringing it back. And our next meeting for that group will be on the evening of June 26th. Right, Haley?
Yep, June 26th at 8:30.
Yeah. So check out the website for the registration information. Haley, will you talk a little bit about like what parents can expect when they come to that group if they're not sure, especially for those who maybe have never done something like that before, logged on to a meeting with strangers to talk shop, what can they expect from that group?
Yes, for sure. So first thing, it's kind of like Brianna, what you shared. Like when you come to the group, the facilitators are moms of color. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna see people that look like you, and it's a very relaxed and safe space. Like I think it's okay to if you come on with your camera on, great, right? Like if you are not comfortable putting your camera on or saying too much, that's okay. Like there's not a lot of expectations. Or anything that we're like putting on you, like we're just really holding the space, and it's you're talking to other moms who have been there, right? Like, so I know myself, I'm a mom of a 23 weeker, and the other facilitator is also a mom of a little a micro preemie. So you are talking to peers, you're talking to other people that have been been in the thick of it too, and come out on the other side. So just knowing that space is really for you, really for moms and birthing persons who have little ones in the NICU.
Yeah, it's great. And we would be honored to have you join us. Right, Haley?
Yes, very honored.
Yes. Well, we are so grateful for the both of you. Thank you for joining us for such an important conversation. We hope that those who are listening in feel validated and supported, and gives them something to think about. And they can always check this stream later because it will record. So if you want to share with friends or family or anyone else in your circle that you think might benefit from the information, you can do that. But thank you again, ladies. You're wonderful. We appreciate the work that you're doing every day to make things better for families like us, who experience this journey. So thank you so much. Everybody stay tuned. Again, this is only day 2 of NICU Mental Health Week. So we'll be back tomorrow with lots more information, and continue to check our Instagram and Facebook. We'll be posting other information and resources throughout the week. So thank you so much. Take care, ladies.
Thanks.
Thanks for your time.